Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 388, 389, somewhere in there. I think it's 388. So let's get to it. Let's see what shows up here. Okay. And so I'm gonna stay away from this Shyvana. We've drafted this here recently. She's been quite popular since the 213 patch has shown up. The Shyvana and Shadow Isles Dragons decks are pretty good. I think there's a lot of promising things coming out of that card pool. It's like we've touched on it all quite a bit here recently. And so, I think I'm fine to come in here and try and draft this Ashe. Not a huge fan of starting out with Aurelion Soul. Kind of the problem we run into this is a large portion of the time he just turns into dragons, and we we have to try to find the Shyvana. But no, the otherworldly creatures half of this tries to be the invoke deck, and I feel like you have to get like a very good pairing in the second pack for this to work out. And so, like, I don't like pairing Aurelion Soul up with Trundle. That's the kind of ramp style deck that you're supposed to do with this. And then I don't feel like a lot of the Freylord cards really lend themselves to being a good invokes control deck. And so I'm typically happy to take Aurelion Soul second. I just don't like taking her first. So this Frozen Solid Ashe, though, more than serviceable. I tend to think of this as a supporting card pool as opposed to a build around card pool. Kind of my problem with things like Frostbites are they don't actually kill anything, right? If we're playing a Mystic Shot, you can kill a unit with that, or if we're playing a Elixir of Iron, we can win a combat or something with it. But all the Frostbites do is help us not lose combats, and so they have a little bit of built-in weakness by design. We'll see what we can work out with this. But let's take a moment and we'll talk about Ashe a little bit more. We'll get her pulled up on the site. If you're not familiar with it, we're just over here at ftpbust.com. It's where I keep all of my expedition related content. We're just going to be over here on the main page or the expedition helper through the navigation bar. We'll just scroll our way down to this little drop down box, find the Ashe and Frozen Solid, and this is what we're working with. This is it here. And so, yeah, I mean, this particular Ashe pool in general, it's meant to be the full-on Ashe Frostbite build-around. And so you're trying to get your Ice Veil Archers down and all of your Frostbite-type spells to get Ashe flipped as quickly as possible. Then once she's flipped, she almost guarantees a unblockable combat through the use of the Crystal Arrow. And so it's just, I don't feel like that's a particularly strong strategy. Building up a board just to make this one kind of like all-in attack, it just doesn't really do it for me. But some of these other combos are useful in other decks. And so as we take a peek at some of these units, we'll find things like where are you at? Rhinefang Wolf. Getting additional value out of our Frostbites. The big thing that I'd hope we're able to piece together strength with here is the Rhinefang Den Mother. This is the new card out of the Sentinel's Path, whatever we're calling, whatever we're calling the newest expansion with action in it, and hopefully we can piece some of these together. But it is rare, so it's kind of tough to do. But I'm getting a bit rambly. I was going to stop and say, the two big things out of this are finding something to do with your Frostbites, whether or not that is, say, like finding challenger units, finding ways to use them like the Den Mother and the Rhinefang Wolf, whatever. You got to find something to do to take advantage of these Frostbites other than having your units not lose combat. That's kind of thing number one. So we do, like to pair this up with, say, like a Fiora. She works really well with all the challengers and the Frostbites. This works well with the Noxus cards. That would be the kind of Blood on the Ice style Ashe where you're trying to use Noxcria Arena. You just got to find something other than, okay, well, I'm just playing my normal units here. Let's hope I can get some value out of these Frostbites. Then thing number two, I like to call out that this card pool does have the Avarosian Outriders in it. This is an extremely powerful unit, especially if you're able to piece together the Yeti's decks. Just putting this humongous pile of stats on the board in the mid game is quite the powerful strategy. So we'll see if we can't find any of these as well. It is always worth pointing out with Freylord that there are some truly monstrous epics in most of the card pools. And here we have Feel the Rush, She Who Wanders, and the Howling Abyss. And so always more than happy to pick up any of those big time epics. But let's see what works here. We may just build around something else. Who knows? Who knows what we're going to end up doing. Okay, this is a fairly tough one. There's a few different things going on here. We can look towards Lysandra. This would help us maintain that Freylord allegiance. So if we're looking to build Yetis, or if we're looking to build towards Avrosian Outriders, or if we want to, maximize our chances of finding the Frostbite cards, this would be the way to do it. This is a pretty weak set of cards. Lysandra, not that strong. At the stairs, not that strong, and then the Sentry's fine. We'd just be taking this card pool to essentially help us stay in a Freylord allegiance. Over here in the second pack, we have this, really strong Shyvana pack from this Malefic Descent. The problem with this one is Shyvana really wants to be paired up with either Shadow Isles or Targon to kind of like maximize the usage of the dragon cards. I mean, there are great dragon cards here in the Shyvana only card pool. We are starting off with the Lieutenant. The 2-drop generator one's good. The 4/5 challenger for 5 is quite good. And so I mean, like, there's the build around aspects are here. You're just missing out on a little bit by not being in the other dragon-based factions. Then last but not least, down here with Tahm Kench, you can make usage of Frostbites with Tahm Kench. If you're going to use an acquired taste strikes a unit, or I should say has the unit strike Tahm Kench before he swallows it. And so, we can use our Frostbites this way. So if we, instead of saying, okay, well, I'm going to come out here and just heal all of my units, I'm going to Frostbite a unit and then try to eat it with Tahm Kench. And so I think we could probably pull that off. And I think this is the route I want to take. I know it's been quite a while since we've drafted Tahm Kench, and I think this is a way that we could actually come out here and make him work. And so I think if you're just out here shooting for your 7 winner, you got your expedition token, you want to get that big 7 win for the week, I would probably take this Shyvana. You can find a lot of challengers out of Shyvana, things like this Dragon Guard Lieutenant. You can kind of push away from trying to do things with the Frostbites. Have a reasonable deck. Then after that, I would probably just take this Lysandra to be in the Freylord Allegiance. I think this would work a little bit better if this was a Blood on the Ice Ashe, since you would be starting with the Noxcria Arena, and then you don't have to count on anything to show up. Like, you're still kind of okay even if the Outriders don't show up. You have kind of a cornerstone strategy. But with this Frozen Solid Ashe, within this Lysandra, you don't really have that cornerstone yet. You're just kind of like hoping that some Outriders show up, or you're hoping that some Yetis show up, or you're hoping that some Den Mothers show up so that you can give yourself some direction. But we're going to take the worst option here with Tahm Kench and see what we can do with this. So we'll take a quick moment to look at Tahm. I know it's been like quite a while since we've drafted one of these, but kind of the big idea going on with this Tahm Kench card pool is you're dealing the damage to your own units and then healing it back with those Targon cards. And so, you say you eat something with Tahm Kench. If he doesn't have a way to get any healing done to him, then you're just kind of like done, right? If he only has 3 health, then you can only attack a 2 health or a 2 attack unit with his what's it called? Acquired taste. And so the idea is you're supposed to be using the healing cards out of Targon, healing back up to full, then go and eat something else. And so we are going to be stuck with some Targon cards. This pool has the Star Spring in it from the start, so we are going to be 3 factions right from the start. But I kind of think, we can supplement this Tahm Kench with some Frostbites and hopefully get our acquired tastes done that way as opposed to healing cards. But otherwise, I mean, the cards in this card pool are fine. I mean, Boxtopus is quite good, Fortune Croaker is quite good, Hired Gun is quite good. So the early game aspects of this one are pretty decent. But then things kind of go south after that. There's just not a whole lot of ways to take advantage of this strategy without being in Targon. And so, Jack the Winner's a strong one. But let's see what we can do though. I think this has the potential to be an interesting deck. We'll see if the cards come together and agree with us. And so, oddly enough, I think the way that this is going to find itself coming together is we probably just mostly want Freylord cards, and then we just want the 3 Tahm Kenches in our deck. And so we'll see if it plays out like this. I don't want these Daybreak cards down here on the right. They aren't going to add to our strategy. The Mending Touch cards here are quite weak, but so is the Succumb to the Cold Icy Yeti pack. And so I'm just going to go ahead and take the Icy Yeti. I think I'm okay-ish to kind of like abandon this Tahm Kench theme if it doesn't show up. And so I at least want to be starting out with some Frostbites in the event that it doesn't come together. But man, these cards are bad. This is another one. Why are you trying to give me so many Succumb to the Cold Icy Yetis? These cards are not good. But so we can skip over that. I don't want to stack too much into our deck with that. I think the Mighty Poro is the card out of these that we want the most. We're not going to have enough healing themes to take advantage of something like Star Spring or Star Shepherd. Again, we're not trying to do the healing so much here as do the Frostbites for Tom. And so the Prowling Cutthroat, we're not in this this plunder theme. I know we have a plunder card in the Citrus Courier, but the Mighty Poro is the best out of all of these units. Here we go. Here we go. We can piece our way back over into doing the Frostbite things. I'm happy enough to pick up a Den Mother, and I forgot about the Tavern Keeper. This is a healing card for our healing strategies, and so a little bit of double synergies coming out here. Everyone likes a good double synergy. It's way better than a single synergy. Not quite as good as a triple. But okay, which one is Ruined Rex? Cast Cannon Barrage randomly targeted enemies for each card you've drawn this round up to 5 times. We're not going to be able to take full advantage of that. And then the Grifter, we're never hitting an Allegiance. So looking elsewhere, I think the Stark Guardian is quite good. This is my preferred way to be healing Tahm Kench, since you're playing a good unit, right? A 3/3 for 3 mana is just a good deal. And then having these Spring Gifts to heal your Tahm Kench with is quite nice. And so this is the way I prefer to do it. I'd rather be playing Spring Guardians than playing like Resplendent Stellacorns or the 2 mana spell that heals for 2 and draws a card. Star Shaping's kind of a different beast, which we're always happy to have, but I would rather be stacking like Spring Guardians given the options. I think that's who we want to take here. The Cloven Way is a little off theme, but it's still a higher quality card, especially if we end up assembling a lot of this kind of like Freylord late gamey, like Overwhelm style game closers. And so he might have a home here, even though we do have to pass on the Invoke unit to get it. But okay, this will work with the Icevale Archer Kindly Tavern Keeper. We aren't really well built to take advantage of Ice Shards. We don't have the Plunders. We don't have the 2 mana Tough units, so I think we can let these go. This is a pretty decent pack down here with the Hired Gun and the Spring Guardian, but I think I want the more on-theme Icevale Archer as opposed to picking up the Spring Guardian. Otherwise, picking up the Hired Gun. Otherwise, the Kindly Tavern Keeper and Spring Guardian are kind of on similar footing. Okay, interesting pack with Zap Sprayfin making an appearance, but Jailbreak is no good. But what can we pick up with Zap? We always got to take him into consideration. We don't. We have a Brittle Steel. It's like we don't even have any spells he can pick up. So I think we can look beyond that. I'm just going to take the mid-rangey plays down here with the Bite Flame Protector and the Fused Firebrand. I hope this doesn't make a bunch of dragon cards just start to show up. This is one of the things that we tend to see here in Expedition that is kind of worrisome with this pick is, you take one set of dragons and the game just goes, hell yeah, brother's trying to draft dragons. And then you just start seeing Dragon's Descent and Fists of the Dragons over and over again. But we'll take it. Hopefully we don't get punished for it. Cool, another Den Mother. All right, I'm on board with this. I really don't like all of these Succumb to the Colds. This is, kind of problematic picking these up. If you can, bank the 3 spell mana and cast a Flash Freeze on something, then that's perfectly acceptable. Having to have additional mana really starts to cause problems, and then we're never going to be able to get these Frozen Thralls on the board. So I'm really not happy with our Frostbite package that we've assembled here. This also can cause us problems to where, if we just have these Frozen Thralls sitting on the board, we can't do anything to get rid of them. We're trying to play our Den Mothers, but we don't have space because the stupid Frozen Thrall's still sitting there. I can definitely see us running into problems with this kind of thing. But is what it is. We got to get our frozen thralls somewhere, I guess. Or, I'm sorry, we got to get our den mothers somewhere, and that is it. That was our only choice. Okay, then a fairly weak set of cards here. I'm just going to go for the curved play with the butcher and the merchant. The Stomper Ravager fairly mediocre. We don't have the landmarks for chip. I think our late game is coming together reasonably enough to not need Moondreamer. So I think we can let that go. It isn't the strongest of late game. We need to pick up something like Alpha Wildclaw kind of something. But that's kind of perfect. Nice, perfectly nice thing to pick up here. And then the Troll Chance can work fine. This isn't a flash freeze per se, but this can be used to give something zero attack and then take advantage of your zero attack matters kind of abilities. In addition to just being a fantastic combat trick. So one of the things we're extremely happy to be adding to our deck here. Okay, and so with these, I guess we can take the Ice Shard and the Butcher. I don't want to take Chip or a fourth Succumb to the Cold. So if we're getting a Jagged Butcher either way out of these packs in the middle and the right, I'd rather have the Ice Shard than the pick a card. So, welcome to the squad. All right, here's what we're needing. What we're needing is 2 drops and real Frostbites. If I could trade all of these Succumb to the Colds for Flash Freezes, I'd do it in a heartbeat, but not the way the game works. Okay. Things are assembling a little bit here with the harsh winds and the troll chant. I am kind of looking towards this Yeti Giverling, though. I know we don't have any Yetis up at this point. It's kind of a dream, but I just really love the Yeti strategy, and it always makes me pause a little bit when I see it. And talk about needing to pick up some late game. Got a Howling Abyss out here. That's fantastic. Perfect. Definitely solves any of your late game problems. So cool. Well, let's get in here. We got to go turn something premium, continue on with our pay-to-win lifestyle. I'm not sure what we're going to have access to. We can click on Targon as well. Looks like none of these cards are in our deck, so we've got to skip over these. What about the spells? No Bayou Brunch for our Tahm Kench. There's an Ice Shard, so I know that's made its way into our deck. That looks like it. So all right, Lysandra. The Ice Shards are premium. We'll appreciate this the next time it takes me 1,000 games to beat a heroic Lab of Legends Lysandra. But all right, let's come together kind of okay. Again, I really like a lot of my Frostbites to come from Ice Spell Archers. So we're not just like sitting around holding these tricks in our hand. Like at worst, you can still just play an archer and hope to attack into a board or something. But you turns out you can't attack with Succumb to the Cold. And so we'll see what we can do. Okay, then this guy's got all the dragon factions. Okay, so I'm gonna hold on to Ashe. She's hopefully quite good here since we're on the even attacks, and then I always like to do this thing where we just hang on to our champions in the round 0 and typically the round 1 and 2 win matches. Since they're just so high powered, right? We only have 2 champions in our deck, and these are way stronger than any of the units, and so I think the power level of hanging on to these makes up for their kind of slowness to come on board. Well, this is nice. We got the Tahm Kench with the 2 healing units. Could be something. Might have to play a Tavern Keeper just to kind of stem the bleeding a little bit, but nice to have some of the combos with Tom. This is always supremely scary, not being able to interact with this Herald. Lets them play the, if they get like 1 card down, if he gets to add Shyvana, then, it's kind of recoverable, but if they have one of these draws where they play a 4 and a 5 a turn early, then it's extremely hard to recover from. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and lead in with this Tavern Keeper, because I want to add Tom. So I want to start generating these acquired tastes as quickly as we can. Cool. I don't require a menu. we'll see what we can do. I mean, we have all the combos here, right? We can acquired taste something and then heal it back with the Tavern Keeper, or we can frostbite something and then do the acquired taste. But you know, if we're at 8, we can only play 6 mana worth of cards this turn. I kind of want to add the Ashe. I mean, she's quite the good blocker here. We can take the 3 from the Ranger, or I mean, we could just block the Ranger with the Tavern Keeper. Play acquired taste. Oh, I like this. I think this looks good. It's tough for them to have, you know, a good trick for either of these dragon keepers, dragon things. So, do we want to just go ahead and succumb to the cold now? Probably. This is pretty bad if he's able to get an attack in, or if he's able to just pass the turn. Uh-oh, doing stuff. Sure. Okay, so he's gonna have a legitimate attack with Loyal Badger Bear, but our health is high enough to not ultimately be worried about that. Okay. And then our open attack this turn is extremely good. Attack with Ashe. She's gonna Frostbite the Badger Bear. Now he doesn't have any legitimate blocks onto Ashe. And then, you know, this leaves us in a spot to where he either leaves that 0-cost unit on the board, or he has to let us acquired taste his 0-attack unit. This is good. If our champions we had on board weren't enough, then hopefully the champions coming out of the abyss will be. Okay, let's pick up a dragon thing. If he has a combat trick like a riposte, or riposte doesn't even get him out of this. He's got to have quite the trick. Get a +4. Single combat. Okay. You're going to have like an unspeakable horror as well. All the single combats. Wow. Okay. No complaints from me. Like we just want time here. We get the Howling Abyss rolling. What you got? Big boy Nautilus. I'm not like super interested in playing him this turn, but all right. Here's my stats. All right, you add your 7 stats of Shyvana. We'll add our 26 stats of Nautilus. Guess was less exciting. I kind of want to get back to just playing acquired tastes. So let's just come in. Interesting. Battle Fury. I can't say I expected to see that one. Are you gonna have another trick on top of that? No, just here for the memes. I agree. Preach it, my man. Alright, well, let's see where this gets us. That's cute. What we got now? Lysandra? The combos with Nautilus? Okay, we have the Frostbite mana now if he's going to try and play combat tricks. We can protect our Tahm in that sense. Uh-oh. Got him. Get something back. That's interesting. I wasn't expecting a Nexus strike to happen there. So let's do this. Let's play Citrus Courier. And then depending on what opponent does, we can like just troll chant Leona so that she can't block our Nautilus. It's not, lethal, but it does force her to block our other units. They maybe get a takedown with. Oh, our Nautilus is stunned. Okay, that's just never happening. I take back that line of play. Block. I mean, I'll trade any trick for a for this Yasuo. Same deal. If he has some kind of combat trick to take down one of these units, I'm more than okay with it. Not even enough for a takedown. Would be a good ice shards if Leona didn't have the spell shield now. But you can see with this board though, like this is kind of my worry with these frozen thralls. Is if we can overwrite something with the Den Mother, but we can't get the free unit out of it. And I think we can probably win this turn. I mean, it is unfortunate if we want to Ice Shard and it kills off both of our Ezreal and our Yasuo. Just looking for the means to attack through Leona. Okay. But cool, that was that was a game. Let's see what we can pick up here. The strong choices out of both champions. I think I'm okay to just continue to pick up these Tahm Kenches. It's a little, a bit of the 50-50 strategy as far as, we need to make some usage out of these Den Mothers. The easiest way to get multiple and free Frostbites are with the units, so with our Ashes and our Ice Veils. But we do also want to be using this Tahm Kench Frostbite combo. I think we just probably have to take all the Frostbites here. These are too good. I think if this was, say, like this Ice Veil Archer wasn't here, because again, the big thing I'm looking for here are the units. I think if the Archer wasn't here, I would be less inclined to take this Ashe. But man, these are such good Tahm Kench units. All right, Tom, welcome to the squad. I can't bring myself to do it. I think we'll probably end up looking to take Ashe for our next champion pack. I don't know. It's just so easy for these Tahm Kenches to be bad. It's like, I don't know, they took Bayou Brunch out of the card pool, but it's very easy to be like, oh, here's Bayou Brunch Wazfra. Like, are you happy? No, you're never happy with that. All right. Got my little kitty helper here. Things are looking good. Okay. Boxtopus can work well with the Archer. This is why I was kind of interested in picking up the Boxtopus plus what's his name? The Boxtopus and Hired Gun pack. Oh, come on, bud. And so you can, ultimately heal your Boxtopus with Troll Chant as well. One of the little boosts that he can get. Let's just pass. Maybe they'll play a better unit. And then if they send it back to us, I'm fairly okay with it. We can't get a takedown on it, but we can get a start. Okay, I really like taking these aristocrat style units off the board. Like if he has the 4-attack dragon now, he has the free unit to sacrifice to it, and it gets the +2 bonus. And so it's pretty strong for them to be able to do. He would be guaranteed to have the aristocrat style unit anyways, but at least, you know, we would start to wear down his board. I kind of want to put some damage on Shyvana to attack into her next turn. Let's do this. Give an ally 2. Give an enemy neg, Shyvana. So now she only has 1 attack, or 2 attack, and we can put the Spring Guardian in front of her where it doesn't die. So this should leave her with 3 health, and we can try and attack her down with Boxtopus now, or we can use Brittle Steels and stuff on her. It is. I got the dragons too, bruh. You ain't the only one with the dragons. It's a little bigger than I'd like to deal with, though. I think when we have 2 Succumb to the Colds in our hand, we can't just be offering up this trade. We have to wait and hope it can get a little bit better. Okay. A little awkward here. This do not like Succumb to the Cold. The 1 mana is not worth the Frozen Thralls. So absolutely, this turn would be so much better if we were able to swap out these things for flash freezes. But maybe the game will just go that long. Maybe we'll get an 8/8 out of one of these things. Okay. The Cloven Way. You might be interesting one day. Not on this turn. I'm really looking here just to have a slow turn where we Tavern Keeper the Spring Guardian. I think we have time here to just play this a little slow. Hey, bud, you're really needy for these pets. He got last night he got ultra needy for pets. Right around 4 in the morning. This wouldn't shut the hell up. Okay, here's another flash freeze. There was very clearly going to be a trick. He's never just attacking here with this into our 5/5 without something to go along with it. So, not surprised to see that happening. What do we think about the Cloven Way now? This should lead us to a good open attack next turn. If we double stun the Great Horn Companion. So this way he should, if we attack with everything except the Icefell Archer, he should only have like the survival blocks with the Dragon Guards. Okay. Looks like you're not long for this world, old Fused Firebrand. Pick up an Ice Shard. Okay, I'm still sending everybody. I know he gets the good block with his Spiderling onto Icefell Archer, but I want to clean up the space on our bench as well. This could be a Vengeance or something. This is kind of what I was expecting to happen. So we make a good mid-combat Ice Shard, whether or not we're like popping a barrier or getting the takedown on the Dragon Guard here. Might work out. Get to kill back here on this thing as well. This thing being the Dragon Guard in the back line. Now we got the space for the Den Mother now. Let's be real. We should probably just go ahead and Ice Shard. I guess we can heal Tavern Keeper. Let's do this. We have the mana for all this, right? 9 and 1. Yeah, we got it. We got the manas.
Compassion is never wasted.
Okay, okay. That's a board.
Courage, soldier.
Okay. Well, this isn't lethal, so I think I want to put a unit in front of this. If we put a 5 in front of it, we can pop it with the Icy Yeti. Like if we do this block. And then we can just take the 12 from his backline. I kind of like this. Now we have a pretty good looking open attack. Just overwrite this dum-dum. Seems good, right? We even have a flash freeze. We'll do the little to big in case they have a... Oh, Barrier Lifesteal's an Ionia card. Still do that little to big. Okay. What do we got? I am interested in the Harsh Winds. Picking up a second one seems good. Okay. Butchers are fine. We don't have a whole lot of early plays here, and we do have awkward early plays like Icevale Archer. But I think that a second Harsh Winds is pretty nice. I would love to trade out these Succumb to the Colds. Kind of interested in the Blessing, but... Okay. Okay. Taking them down. By 1. Okay. Kindred with Piltover. Let's see, what are we going to do here? I think I want to hang on to this Ice Shard, but I also only want to hang on to one of our 3s. But before we throw away these 3s, what do we realistically have draws at that we want? Like 1, 2, 3. We only have like 3 units we actually want to hit, 4 in the Starlit Seer. I'm just going to go ahead and hang on to them. I think we have to kind of accept that we're rarely going to be doing things in our first couple of turns. Hopefully we can fix that. I'd like to trade out some of these turds. get rid of the likes of Star Springs and just have some early game plays in there. Okay, I'd like to take this stuff off the board as well. Don't want opponent having access to these easy slays. Interesting. Okay. Well, if our idea is still just to play an Ice Shard, then I don't want to be adding Icevale Archer. It's like, well, we could Frostbite the little Spiderling and get in an attack, but that doesn't seem super appealing. Ask myself how appealing do my plays need to be, and the answer is super. And so that solves that. Interesting. All right. Well, I don't have like the highest of hopes for Tahm Kench here, but I think the best thing we could have happen is like opponent just plays crumble, right? If opponent tries to crumble off Tahm Kench with one of these things, and then we get to AOE his whole board and counterspell the crumble, that would be pretty good. The level of badness there is pretty low. Oh my goodness! Come on, bud. Do it now. Do that crumble now. Hmm. Okay. Well, we still have some answers if we need to try and dodge a crumble. Astral Fox. This is okay. If he just passes back to us, like we can try to bank. His attack here isn't that great. Okay, and then seeing stuff like this happen, my ultimate worry is that they have a atrocity in hand. Very easy for them to close out the game going face. I'm surprised to see him just kind of throwing his units out here. Black Spear's fine. Okay. How many of these we got? Big zero, the big zero piece on the old on the old den mother for frostbites. A lot we can do about an Everglade collector. But, if he wants to trade the last win for either of our units, that's fine. If he wants to start risking some damage on the collector, that's also fine. So, let's go ahead and get the squad in here. Oh no, that was bad. That was definitely bad. We should have healed over here first. That was sloppy. Now we just had to waste that flash freeze. What can he even do here that we care about? I mean, we can add a unit bigger than Kindred. Do we... I think that's okay. Let's go ahead and just we'll risk. Let's do this. Start with a heal onto our big unit. Can't there? He'd have to have like specifically get excited if he or a gotcha drawn this turn if he wanted to try and get the slay with Kindred. Okay, that's fine. We'll lose our Spring Guardian this way, but we get to switch over to the big boy plan. And then he doesn't have good attacks this turn. Okay. Our attacks do look good. It should be tough for them to play a unit bigger than a 5/5. Just not existent within the P and Z units. I worry a little bit about how we're kind of going tall with these dudes that we have on board, right? Since he's just getting these free slays all over the place. But this flips his Kindred, right? Well, no, it doesn't. Okay, our Yeti won't die in combat. Okay. think we're fine. Oof. Just gotta get a big old bunch of stuff on board. That's all. That's all it ever takes, right? Interesting. Do we even want to? Want to add this thing? Well, I think this is a safe one. If, like, we assume that he's going to be attacking with Kindred, and then we just try and take it down with Harsh Winds. I think this is probably going to be a pretty good Harsh Winds this turn.
I'm doing this my way.
Ooh, it just passes. Interesting. All right. So, I mean, I think we just have to add all of our dudes to the board, and then try and get an Ice Shard going. Take away his blockers like the Leech. So we don't have enough Overwhelm to take this down now that we've lost our Wild Claw. Okay.
I as well, dear wolf.
Alright, so what does an attack here do? We're just going to get in for 3, right? Then I would say he puts Vi in front of our Mighty, puts Mask Mother in front of Den Mother, then puts Kindred in front of the Firebrand, something like that. But I think we just have to continue to attack here. It's just it's a bit of a disaster if we have just like the one unit left for them to start taking down with Kindred. We make it one more turn. I think we can maybe we can make it one more turn. Citrus Courier is kind of interesting.
I as well, dear wolf.
I think we probably just have to run this out now, though. Can't guarantee that he's just going to like continue to pass. Although, I mean, Kindred has to be big enough for him to feel safe about an attack. I was really surprised he didn't attack last turn. But... Hey, we gotta do it here. Yeah, we got 10 mana of Frostbites plus a Ice Shard. That's what this is looking like. Okay. Do something that doesn't matter, right? The thing we always ask for in these situations. Just do something that doesn't matter. Okay, and then what may save us here is now on his turn we can Ice Shard and then Citrus Courier for a rally. And so if we get this like chunk of damage in, there's a world where we can kill him with an attack next turn. Okay. Well, That's hard to recover from. I mean, Kindred's killed like an actual 100 units this game. Alright, I don't think we'll be able to get wider than this. Harsh Winds Part 2? Oh, come on. Oh my gosh, we might be able to get it here. Oh my goodness. One-time dealer. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Kill a unit, then revive it. We want to Ice Shard now? I think so. Why does our unit die? Does Kindred still get to hit this thing? Is that the way that works? Or is it just showing it go away because of the, Oh, just moving it. That one dies, and then we're getting the one back on our bench. Okay. Oh, hang on. I thought, oh, we didn't have the mana to do all of that. F. Okay. F. I thought the harsh winds took the mana away from us. Okay.
I as well, dear wolf.
I think we can, that's so hard to win this game without the courier, though. That was a bit sloppy. I thought we were going to have the mana to play this thing on the previous turn, but now it's like we just have to throw everything in front of Kindred, and we can't really do anything about it.
My aim is true.
My aim is true.
All the world.
So can we get wide enough here? This is gonna be tough. I mean, they still have 3 cards in their hand. They're gonna do something dumb to to make us upset this turn. But if we can get by without losing our Ash, we might be okay. The problem is we have to Crystal Arrow on their turn.
Where are you?
Yep. So yeah, this leaves us in the spot now to where they just open. This is done. Well, that's one of the joys of playing against Kindred. Say, oh, you get to kill one of my units every single turn of the game without actually doing anything. Must be nice. Must be nice. But we were close. We were close to getting there. Anyways, here we got the opportunity to trade out Star Spring. This card is garbage, and so that's at least a pretty strong upgrade picking up these Tavern Keepers. That feels good. Yeah, Kindred's pretty tough for us to deal with. We just don't have any ways to actually kill one, and so that's why she gets to hang out up in the tier 1 lands. Our opponent was doing actual nothing with their cards. This playing a shitty unit and then playing a shitty Mask Mother on it. But when you get to turn, your bad cards into a removal spell every turn of the game, really punishes the non-interactive decks, or at least the decks that can't flood the board with small units. But not a bad start here. I think we should hopefully have some time against this stuff, unless we found ourselves up against a Sump Worker deck, which will really struggle to beat in the same way we struggle to beat a Kindred. Hi, Broheim. What are you doing here? Dropping your phone in the toilet? Is that what happened? Well, these... I don't know if I've even seen this board and these things before. Huh. Not nearly as cool as the kitties. I need to change our board. I gotta find a new way to do that, but y'all know how we do it otherwise here. You just take the ones with the cats on them. Alright, but it does appear as though opponent is disconnected. Maybe they'll return. There we go. He's back. Cool. It's not like a super interesting block with Zillion. I probably wouldn't block here either, but typically when it comes to Zillion, we look to just get as much combat value as quickly as we can out of this thing, because his flip is not that important to hit. It's like you kind of play him as a predict plus time bomb generator and not so much expect to start doing this fleeting card generation thing, but we'll see. It's a tasty little choice for Tahm Kench to eat. Okay, I mean we're gonna get Tom bombed, so the block onto the feline doesn't feel quite as good. But if we don't have like a whole lot of choice in the matter, I'm not. Well, you can just take it, but I'm not like super interested in using Tavern Keepers to heal up our non-Tahm Kench units. Well, I mean, I could see a block with Tahm Kench onto the feline to take it down. We have a lot of ways to heal in our hand.
I've been practicing, and it's not perfect, but
If your prediction is correct, we have much to look forward to.
Okay, well let's go ahead. Ooh, this strongest. Okay, it's like we can just hit him with the hired gun, but it's a good start. I think we should be able to protect him. I mean, there's not a whole lot of spells that can take him down. They could Thermogenic Beam would take down Tahm Kench, but beyond that, not a whole lot. He only gets to predict 2 cards here.
I don't want to meet whatever woke you up.
Oh, he popped a crystal. Jeez. And a time bomb. Wow. Wow. Well, that's certainly a lot of AoEs coming at us. I mean, do we even bother with the hired gun knowing that he can hit everything for 3? I don't think so. I think I just want to bank.
We mustn't linger.
I mean, I don't want to just like throw this stuff away. This does put him in a spot to where, he can just sort of AoE with Time Bomb if he wants, instead of having to play the crystal if we get, too aggressive with throwing our units away. But I think this is okay here. Alrighty, we gotta play a little slower and think about it a little longer, am I right? almost feel better just thinking that they dropped their phone in the toilet. You're trying to life coach it. This was ultimately my worry with the predict mechanic. It's turned out to be okay. Most people are pretty snappy in their choices, but you do certainly run into players that take their time as far as choosing a predict choice. So it gets kind of awkward when they do it over and over again. This is somewhat interesting in that we can now heal our Tavern Keeper to keep it from dying from Time Bomb. I don't think I'm quite interested in that. Let it go. We'll just get a bank up to 3. Just look to take over this board with Tom. Ooh, Howling Abyss. Interesting. Good. How scary is this? I don't think it's that scary. Let's see what happens. If he pops our Tom with the Spring Gifts. Or if he has the removal spell as we play Spring Gifts. Oh, cool. So how do we want to go about this? Is this even worth a Frostbite to take these things down, or would we rather just say that this board is ignorable? Let's just get the Howling Abyss going. I think I kind of like this. Yeah, so I mean, we miss out on a removal. And I guess technically a Tahm Kench flip. Oh no, we got Tom in combat there. Oh man, you attack with Tom to get the Jarvan going. Okay, I'm convinced. Oh, why wouldn't you block with your Chronomancer? Interesting. So I mean, the only thing Tom has eaten is Zillion. Does he come back? Is his Time Bomb thing a play or a summon? I don't remember. I don't think we care. I think we're going to just bank some mana here. This is not the most intimidating of units in the Chronomancer. And I would like to start, trying to get these turns to where we Ice Veil Archer something for the shutdown and then just eat it later. Nocturne's ready to close this one out. Right, when I challenge an enemy, give me barrier. Who even needs the cataclysms when we have this stuff?
You weren't gone long, but I worried every second.
Even the void couldn't stop me.
Okay. Good. All the tools for this turn. We care. I don't think we care if he plays another. Well, I mean, he can't play another Sumpworker this turn, anyways. But if he's going to just play a unit to consolidate, and then we can kill it afterwards. We can -2 his squad with this Den Mother. But, all right, I figure it is probably a little too much to have to deal with the flipped champions coming in. It's nice. Good job, team. So yeah, kind of like with those previous ones, I'm not. I don't feel like we have to either be 100% Tom or 100% Ashe build around. I think we're just kind of like this kind of like pool of synergy, and I'm not taking Spiral Stairs Rummel, and so this Ashe Starlit Seer is actually. Kind of everything that we're looking for in a premium early game play, a Frostbite that isn't succumb to the cold, and then of course Ashe herself. And so I think this is good, a nice little addition. Add a lemonade. Life's hard. That Chick-fil-A every once in a while, the meat just tastes so good. All right, here we go. Aphelios only. Interesting. All right, well, I think we can do something like this. Hang on to a couple 2-drops. Look for something that isn't as bad as Succumb to the Cold. A little expensive. I think I'd rather have Succumb to the Cold back, but I think that's still the proper mulligan. It's so bad. Yeah, all right, we found one, just in case. All right, bud, you gotta make a decision. Okay. I think it's a good enough hired gunnable unit. I don't want to just like run out the Starlit Seer and then have them play a Crescent Guardian or something next turn. We have the good attack into the Shade Stalker with the Mighty Poro. Okay, then they can't have combat tricks here. Right, the only combat trick here would be looking out for would be Pale Cascade. I mean, if he wants to play the Shadow Isles trick that gives his unit ephemeral, I'm okay with that, but wouldn't expect there to be a trick here. Cool. This is worth a flash freeze. Kind of dig it.
An auspicious season.
Just to keep this board going. And keep them from having good blocks. Like, we can do this. If he plays, like, you know, a Cloven Way or something, it's kind of awkward, but I think this is still strong. Big old Den Mother as well. Right, kind of with the way we've lined this up. If you play a, if you play a big unit and have it get frostbitten, that's fairly bad. But we're getting these damages in though. We're about to switch over to go wide mode, and so sure. Without them, adding things to the board, it feels pretty nice. All right, this was a perfect pickup here in the Firebrand. We can just add this thing to the board. We can Succumb to the Cold if we want, and then we can Icy Yeti next turn, and then we'll be ready to have the big Den Mother cards 2 turns from now. I think this is looking pretty strong. Bad. Adding the Frozen Thrall is just such downside. Whoa, big boy. Okay. The biggest of boys coming at us. We fall to 10. That feels safe enough. We have a Harsh Winds in our hand. You up to 5? That's a nice pile of stats. All right, that's pretty healthy. It'll suck if he just drops an Eclipse Dragon here, but otherwise. This feels good. But this is ultimately my major concern is, we go into next turn, we aren't able to lose any units, and then we can't generate the pack because the stupid Frozen Thrall's just sitting here. We can't get rid of it. So you're not ideal. We'll just get in with the others. Right, it's unfortunately it's not lethal if we attack with the hired gun. Okay, he snapped that right off. Okay, so let's see what happens. Ideally we'll get to play the Pack Mother. If not, we have the harsh winds to protect ourselves from whatever Crescent Guardian shenanigans they're trying to do. This was his first play. It's not Nightfallen, right? I didn't just miss something. He led with that thing. Yeah. I wonder if he made the mistake thinking that this creates a copy on Summon and not creates a copy on Nightfall. I've done that many a times. So can't tell if he's just thinking, oh crap, that was not the plan. Cloven Way. Alright, we can block that. I am not impressed. God, fearsome. Okay, this should be safe. There's not a whole lot of spells that he could be dropping here. Now, can we kill with an open? Our Icy Eddie's going to be out of the picture. So we attack with everything. He blocks 6/6 with something. He blocks 6/4. Be hitting for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I'm convinced. This is by no means a guaranteed lethal, but we can present it. Right, like this. There shouldn't be any lifesteal things, but he's going to say he's going to want to block our units at the right. So I want to try and force him onto our units at the left here. Okay. Then we'll save our flash freezes. We can, the only way I can imagine we lose this game is if he's like, oh, here's my giant invoked, celestial spell shielded elusive, and so the troll chant doesn't help us get through that as much, whereas a frostbite can prevent that full non-damage. Okay. So he can't play any of his moon weapons if I'm looking at this right. He's only going to have 2 mana left over. And then I would say, from his perspective, he'll ideally be doing 3 damage to something and then doing a double stun. Or, I'd say he probably wants to be doing a lifesteal attack. But let's see what he's got in his bag of tricks here. I'm gonna save all this mana. Oh, this costs 13. We can throw out our unit if we want. Let's do it just in case. I'd imagine that he's gonna play the rest of his cards, but if for whatever reason he's feeling tricky, I want to make sure we have our unit on the board. Not a bad hit with the Sky Shadows. So he's got a Nightfall in his hand, right? Oh, if you behold a Nightfall, so he can behold a Felios. Alright, well, I'm ready for my open. It's not going to be enough, is it? It's got 3 blockers. Nothing left has overwhelm. Does loses Aphelios this way. Okay. I don't think we ever get away with stopping this if we. Oh man, you're just gonna have another vengeance? Oh, this is brutal. Oh, we fall far behind if he's. I felt like if we cleared out his whole board, then this would be fine. But got him. He's shifting stuff around. You got to move that Aphelios. Uh oh. Kill a unit and revive it. He falls to 3. His 2 littles go away. Aphelios survives. Okay. Okay. Still think we're safe, but I mean, it is of course always scary just running into Aphelios here. He's holding Severum, the lifesteal one. I assume he wanted to make a lifesteal play at some point, but we can definitely smash that with one of these many one of the many harsh winds that we have.
Only a fool would enter battle unprepared.
I don't know. I'm sure some constructed player knows what his 2 options are off of Severum. Can you see it this way? There you go. It's double stun or overwhelm. I'd have to assume he's taking double stun here, unless his intent is to try and lifesteal more with the flight. But that doesn't seem like a game-winning proposition. Just deals more damage with, or prevents more damage with the gravitum. Yeah. Okay. Keep doing your thing, my man. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Can't imagine this is going to turn out well for him. The only bad thing here is that we don't have great blocks on Aphelios. I'm going to put a 3/3 in front of him, but there's chances he can have cards to get out of this. Or there's not really. There's not really a chance.
Easy now.
But I mean, he's got to go for it, right? He's got to have something go right, or he's just never going to win this game. So I think this is definitely one of these spots where you just throw your unit in there and hope for the best. And there it is. We did it. Okay, so do we want to pick up more Den Mothers? I'm not completely opposed to it, but I kind of like the dual function of these. Well, I guess these aren't really the dual function ones between working with Tahm Kench or not, but I think the 2 Den Mothers has been enough. Like we've run into a handful of issues with these not generating the size of units that we need, so I'm just going to skip over these. I feel pretty good with 2 harsh winds. Uh, I used to really like 3, but I think it's kind of declined in quality here as the new sets have come out, and so we'll just skip over this trade. All right, I started to get wiped out, and struggling to stay awake through this one. To one of my favorite bands of all time, Rancid, came to town last night. We went. They usually go to bed 10 p.m., wake up at 5 in the morning, and then didn't get home until much later than that from the show. So we got that lack of sleep hitting us here. But all right, we'll make it through. I assure you, we'll be just fine. See if we can't get salty about these kindreds and Vigios out here. So we can just get rid of everything. I'd like to be able to hang on to Brittle Steel, but we have to have a unit that we can play on turn 3 or earlier. And so without that requirement, we'll just shuffle away everything.
Where do you stand on cold shots?
Okay.
What's this?
Got us. Oh, and he lost a Vigio to his Bull Shark. That's always unfortunate for someone to see. But here, I'm going to go ahead and get the unit down. It's kind of challenging for these factions to have something that interacts favorably with all of our board. So I wanted to go for it. This is a new addition, though. This is kind of a pain for us to deal with. We're locked and loaded with these Succumb to the Colds. Okay. I mean, let's just take the 4. I don't think I'm quite willing to throw away a Starlit Seer here. Maybe we should have. I mean, he's starting to get reasonably far ahead of us. This Malefic Descents card pool has Atrocity in it. And so there are some, problematic cards we could run into. All right, and then just nothing. Nothing to do here. This certainly qualifies as not good. Generate one unit with the Den Mother. We might just have to do it. All right, we're definitely losing a unit. I think we probably just have to run this out. Oh wow, we hit the researchers for the bonuses. Not the most exciting of units, but it's big enough to tango with everything. And we can still get a Harsh Winds this turn. Okay. We can deal with those. we got a million Frostbites in our hand.
Excuse us.
No, we have to just troll chant instead of Harsh Winds. Depending on what's this going to be, 5 damage going into the Guardian. Okay, never mind. Okay. Interesting. Putting stuff on the board. Just something sacrificable. Is that all he's trying to get out of that? Could be a world where our let's be real. Let's just do this. This could be a world where our Frozen Thrall actually comes on the board. That's delightful. Okay, I don't know what else you're supposed to say about that. I guess I thought that attack was there just to try and pull off a like a 1 damage ping to pick up a Slay, but apparently it was for Rasa. Okay, well that was a fun game. Hope you could detect the level of seriousness in my voice as to how fun that game actually was. Oh, Feel the Rush. There we go. That's what we get. That's how we generate fun games, right? You just play Feel the Rush. Okay, I'm on it. That's what I was talking about, though. These Freylord epics are ridiculous between having Feel the Rush and then having the Howling Fjord or whatever that thing's called. The generates the level 2 champions. You know, we can go toe to toe with anything in the late game. Apparently, except a Kindred. That should be the payoff, right? We get the level 2 champion every turn, and in exchange, they get to kill a unit every turn. All right, let's look for some more cheaper plays, though. Didn't found them. Found our turn non-play. Viego, Diana, and Callista. Like, I feel like we can deal with Vigio. It's just those Callistas are ridiculous. Or not Callista, those Kindreds are always just ridiculous for a deck like we're playing here. This is aggressive. Get us for 6. Okay. I don't want to immediately advertise that we have this healing in our hand, and so I'm just going to play out the Spring Guardian. And then pass.
Those we care for reflect our love.
I mean, we could attack, right? He only has the singular copy of Callista. Like, if he was playing 3 Callistas, I'd feel a lot better about this. Maybe we should try to get the unit off the board. This is kind of like they just get rid of it when they want to. Oh. Okay. We don't have an attack into the mists. I mean, this turn's fairly awkward. Let's see what they do. Well, it's fairly awkward in the sense of the cards that we want to play, right? We want to get all of our mana spent this turn between Box to Post Seer and Spring Gifts. That interacts quite well with his board, but we can't interact with any card that he plays here if that's going to be our plan. Got to block the Bark Beast. If they have some kind of thing to return units to the board or to their hand, I would prefer him get back the Bark Beast as opposed to the Soldier. Cool. He did it before we played the gift, so at least get to hang on to the card. Was that a generated one, or is that just actually in hand? Doesn't say. I don't think it was generated by the thing. As good as a description as that is, generated by the Heavens Beyond, or okay. I'm just gonna play Bark Beast. We just got to keep spending our mana here, this thing, or Bark Beast, the Black Market Merchant. This can hopefully block something. that's a big ask for a card to do, but you just block something. But we just need Tahm, right? As long as we get up to turn 9 with a pretty reasonable set of health, get to come down here and drop the Feel the Rush. And I don't think we're in too much danger. Okay, we'll just keep passing, right? This should be good. Oof. There is a touch of a problem here in that if we want to play the Yeti next turn and we want to feel the rush, we have to get a unit off of the board. All right. Well, hopefully this comes to work out. Looks like he's probably going to open on us. What you got, duder? Nothing. You ain't got nothing. Open? Open? I mean, it's not a bad one, right? If he gives the Scuttlegeist the +2 health, gives up on his Tayari. We have one block here. Kind of tempted to just... we can't flash freeze, right? We have to have all the mana for a Feel the Rush next turn. Right. Well, as long as we can stay out of atrocity range, I think we're fine. 7/7s ain't nothing, my man. you gotta learn about the 10/10s. Is it premium? No. That'd have been nice. Get all the premium champions. Turns out 10/10 Tahm Kenches can eat a lot of units. Oh, he's just coming out with the battle fury, right? Look at that, to feel the rush, giving him +8/+4. It's exactly like a battle fury. Okay.
Continue without me.
I'm getting a little worried now. He's handling this a little too easily.
Appetizers of brilliancy.
Nothing we can do about that. And do we want to just go ahead and eat something? It's pretty worrisome that with the manas he has, if he's just going to play like a Vengeance. But if we want to like Acquired Taste, Harsh Winds is 8. We can still just add the Butcher. The Butcher's not super strong here, but it can block a dragon if we need to. There it is. I figured some kind of shenanigans were afoot. All right, and this has gone from looking good to looking bad. There's nothing we could do about the Crumble or the Vengeance. You have to add this just to have a blocker? I think so. Can't get out of it with the Troll Chant.
Blessed by snow and stars.
And we have to keep our health high, right? We ultimately do have to worry about atrocities coming down, especially since we're starting to run out of Frostbites. But hopefully all these Starlit Seer bonuses will come through for something. We gotta have something go right here.
An auspicious season.
Okay. We did have something go right. We played Field of Rush. They had all the removal spells. Okay. Not looking good. check where that Callista flip stands. I mean, I would think playing against Freylord, he might want to just open with these, and we can handle an open attack. Haunted Relic. Okay. We can only. Does that take us? All right. This lets him get the flipped Callista. We should have dealt with her, right? Snapped off that harsh winds a little prematurely. I think this is still okay. Taking down the Callista, keeping our unit, preventing all the damage. That makes it not okay. Ugh, her not dying is a problem. Okay, we'll hang on to the harsh winds. We're probably gonna have to make the same play next turn. So get to prevent a little damage. Hopefully we'll draw whatever unit we have that has like +8/+8 on it at this point. Be able to do something on this board, but I'm feeling fairly bad about this one. The Den Mother's probably our best draw. The tooltip doesn't work, but getting 2 units could be quite important here. Oh, well, you got a mountain of stats, that's for sure. We have to go ahead and play it. It's gonna block with something, and that something is, well, he has to block. So we'll frostbite the dragon, right? I assume from his 3 capable blockers here, he would want to block with this, as opposed to losing one of his champions. So we'll at least try to prevent the damage from this thing. Alright, he got himself a fresh blocker. Yeah, he's got more cards.
This will be a good winter.
Okay. Maybe that'll count us turning the corner here. I'm gonna go ahead and spring gifts our courier. So he'll have the ability to block a little more. Our top unit will have +4/+4 now. Maybe that's how we do it. It's a big old mighty Poro.
There you are. You will serve.
Okay, so we can barely survive this, but we're just gonna have to throw a unit in front of Diego. Oh, wow. Oh, so he starts stealing my units? Is that what he does? I don't know if we can beat a flipped one of these. First time a unit dies, summon encroaching mists. Okay, steal the strongest enemy this round. If it's a champion, kill it. Okay. Yeah, we're probably not going to be able to beat that. Do we get it back? You steal it forever, don't you? Yeah, this game's done. Okay. Well, it's too bad. We were counting heavily on Field of Rush, and they had both of their removal spells for our big boys. It's not a whole lot you can do about that. But I mean, again, this is kind of what I would expect out of a Tahm Kench deck these days. He used to be sitting up in tier, like I think I had him up in tier 1 for a while, and then he kind of fell down to tier 2, and then kind of fell down to tier 3. That's kind of where he sits now, where he'll likely spend the remainder of his career. It's just the thing with Tahm Kench is you can see in these games to where he should be good, right? We got annihilated by Kindred just every single time. Having a unit that can function as a removal spell every turn of the game is just incredibly powerful and something you can't just fade. But he has of course no Kindred. Kindred is ridiculous. It takes absolutely no effort and just kills a unit literally every turn of the game through no effort whatsoever. And so like that's why Kindred gets to hang out in tier 1. Things are a lot more challenging for Tahm Kench now. Like when he was released in I can't remember. Yeah, he would have been in Call of the Mountain. All of the all of the good Targon cards hadn't been released yet. There weren't a whole lot of ways to actually deal with him quickly. Even now that he's had, the only Light Noxus card would have been Nox and Guillotine. There were no Scorched Earths. The likes of just a lot of these cards didn't exist. And so as like time has gone on, he's gotten progressively worse. And so this is kind of where he is. And so the healing theme, it's just not particularly good. And so I thought it might be kind of interesting if we could put this together with the Frostbites. And then, having heals from Kindly Tavern Keeper was kind of interesting. I thought we might have something, serviceable here, but, not something that I really felt like was going to go to 7. And I mean, we have the tools to do it. It just wasn't, our tools weren't Tahm Kench related. Our tools were the Feel the Rush and the Howling Abyss, and then the Frostbite combos that we had. And so, as a build around strategy, I don't think this is particularly exciting, but, if we just simply had like more Icevale archers and more early game, maybe I would be singing a different story here, but being stuck with three succumb to the colds isn't really the place we wanted to be. Just too much of a mana sink. And so it is kind of an interesting idea. And so it's something to at least keep in the back of our minds. So do I think this is a good deck now? Not particularly, but the tools for a good deck are here. And so with this combination of Bilgewater and Freylord, we do have, a lot of challengers. There's the 2 challenger wolves and Freylord. There's Hired Gun. There is Boxtopus. There's the various vulnerable cards coming out of Bilgewater. And so those tools all work fantastically with Frostbites. And then, kind of the other circle of synergies. Of course, we talked extensively about Tahm Kench with the Frostbites, but then there's also a bit of the, you call it the raiding party theme in Expedition, as to where that's kind of what you're looking for with Gangplank and Sejuani, to where you're hitting plunders with AoEs and stuff, and we can see a bit of that here as well. It's not something I think is particularly good and fleshed out now, but who's to say that a set or two down the road, even just like one common coming out can really shape up the whole picture of things here, and so maybe this will be a viable deck in the future. And so, long story short, I don't, recommend drafting this. I think there is some potential here. Will that potential come to fruition in the future? Maybe, maybe not. But it's a good concept to keep in the back of our minds in case it does show up in the future. But, if you are out here looking to draft this on your own, again, the big things that I would say that we're looking for, Icevale Archer should be your kind of premier Frostbite giver. We don't want to be out here having to play, Tahm Kench plus Flash Freeze, or Tahm Kench, or I should say, the Appetite Below, or whatever the thing is called, an Acquired Taste, the Appetite Below. Nice. You don't want to play, the Acquired Taste plus a spell, because as we see with these decks, you just tend to run out of spells too quickly. And so ideally you would be able to, play the Icevale Archer, get the Frostbite, and then play the Acquired Taste, or even, using something like Kindly Tavern Keeper and Spring Guardian, play to the same themes, as to where we don't want to be spending actual spells. We want to be playing units that can make up for this loss of health. And so that's kind of, theme and idea number 1. Paired that up with just challengers and vulnerables, should give you, some really interactive packages. You could see that that's where we really struggled in all of these games. Was it's like, oh, an opponent's got a Kindred, and we just have, fuck all ways to deal with it. Or opponent has Viego. We can't interact with him, so he's just going to sit on the board and grow and grow and grow, because we don't have any removal spells. And so if you at least have the challengers, like if you have the At least in this deck, the big one we would have been looking for would have been the Frostbite Wolf. Just something to interact with what your opponent's doing that isn't Tahm Kench. Then that would have been, much stronger and more along the lines of what we're looking for here. But then, at the end of the day, don't draft too much top end. Our top end is kind of turdy here and off theme between the two dragons, the Cloven Way, the Citrus Courier. There's no real themes going on in our top end other than, Harsh Winds, Den Mother, Icy Yeti. That's a nice little group of synergies. And then we just have the ridiculous Freylord Epics and the Howling Abyss Feel the Rush. But we do have a solid 5 cards here that we don't want, along with all of these Succumb to the Colds, which, ideally be turned into units with Challenger and Frostbite Archers and cheaper Frostbites. So, it was a fun little exercise. Again, it wasn't the most successful of strategies, but it was a good time. So let's see, though. Let's push on. We got this chest. I can't complain about the quality of the chests for a while. On the last weekly chest, we spiked 3 champions out of one out of one pack, and so I don't know when we're allowed to complain again. I figure it's at least 5 to 6 weeks down the road. Maybe when the new set comes out, we can start complaining then. Everybody's forgotten about the past once the new set comes out. That should be soon, right? They started the spoiler season. I saw that they started showing the Bandle City stuff with I haven't seen how the dual factions are supposed to work, but now Teemo is a Piltover and a Bandle City champion. And then we also got to see they're really pushing out the puff cap theme, which kind of leaves me a bit frightened. It's an extremely non-interactive set of abilities, and it felt like that there was enough in the current format, at least as far as Expedition was concerned. And so that's one of these things I worry about coming up in the future. And so it's something that you can kind of deal with in Constructed. You get to pick and choose how your removal goes, but adding in all those highly uninteractive effects in Expedition is kind of worrisome. It's like how good is your Sumpworks Posse deck? It's pretty good because there's a lot of decks that don't get to say, well, this is a big part of the meta game, so I'm just going to play a bunch of Mystic Shots. You don't get to do that in Expedition, so those decks get an opportunity to run wild. And so we'll see if Teemo is able to do that. But that's going to do it for us today. Hope you all enjoyed the trial. You maybe learned how to freeze your dinner, right? A little frozen dinner. The Tahm Kench and the Frostbites. I dig it. Maybe some learned a thing or two along the way. Had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.